Peak time summer at the moment in Cape Town. So, I mean, I think everyone's going to be at the beach now.
Yeah.
And yourself, where are you?
So I live in London.
Okay, cool. I lived in London for 2.5 months. At
Oh,
first,
right.
I was by Angel Station,
Yeah.
and then I moved a bit further south towards Elephant and Castle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you today for the BBC.
Yes.
And I was doing an article on the aesthetic of men. And when they asked me to include some social media people,
Yeah.
you're the first one to come to mind.
Really?
You have a massive following on TikTok.
It seems that way, yeah.
So let's just start from the beginning, actually. Were
Yeah.
you modeling before you got onto TikTok?
I'll give you a quick background. I mean, I
Yeah.
finished school and I didn't really know what I wanted to study.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to go over to Asia for modeling. And I knew I was going to, I didn't know, when I was going to start modeling properly, but, I signed with an agency in December of 2015. And then by February, just after my birthday, then I got a contract to go to Hong Kong. And I'd never traveled, internationally for modeling. I never even did a modeling job,
Yeah.
and I got this contract to go over, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I mean, from then on about, I went to Hong Kong for 3 months, then I went to China afterwards for a couple months, then I went to South Korea for a couple months, came back home, then I went to Thailand for a couple months, and then I met a girl when I was in Korea actually, and I ended up moving to Australia for a whole year. And I lived in Australia for a year, and then I met another girl, and I ended up going to London. That's why I was in London for 2.5 months. And then I traveled around a bit I took a break from modeling sort of, and I went to America for 3.5 months actually, with my best mates, and we were teaching kids how to wakeboard there at one of those summer camps.
Yeah.
So I mean, the modeling never really kicked off for me like it should have, and I also think that is because the market that I was in Asia was not really the market that I should be in. It was not correctly suited to my aesthetic. And I almost said, I still remember phoning my dad and I said to him, by the time I'm 24, if nothing's happened yet, I'm actually going to look for a different type of job, because I love the modeling for traveling, but it's not sustainable if you aren't booking, jobs regularly. And I went to Hong Kong again last year. It was my last modeling trip. I came back it was June, July I was there. So I came back the end of July. And one of my best girlfriends, she actually said to me, Karl, there's a friend of mine who's doing this new app called TikTok. And he's basically just shaking his hair in front of the camera and getting thousands of views. And he's linked his Instagram, and his Instagram is building. And for me, as a model, your social media is now so important. Because you need to get your name out there in order for clients to, view you, and then you could potentially be booking more jobs. So for me, even just I had 3,000 followers at that stage last year, 1st of August. And I was like, it can't hurt. Let me try it. And, from the first video off the bat, I got 30,000 views for the first video that I did. And obviously for me, it was even 30,000 views was mental. I couldn't wrap my head around it. So then I started, doing these TikToks, and I started my first video on 1st of August last year, and it blew up, and, I was completely flabbergasted actually at, the reach that you could get from TikTok. And I was telling all my friends, all my model friends, jump on this app. It's really working for me. I'm building a following and, getting my name out there. It's great. And no one did anything until lockdown, when everyone was forced to sit at home and sort of, go on their phones or find something to waste their time with. And, TikTok became that platform. And then everyone jumped on, and then it just blew up.
I'm going to come back to TikTok, but how did you get scouted in South Africa?
So I actually just applied to an agency myself. I got rejected by a couple, to be honest with you. And eventually one took me on. And then I was barely with them, and then I did that contract to Hong Kong, and then I was traveling internationally for most of my life after school.
When you say you felt you want the right aesthetic for Asia, what do you mean?
like my agency describes it, I'm like a classic boy next door American boy, you know?
Yeah.
And for Asia, the Asian look is a very young, it's a younger, clean, sort of like very white look. And for me, you know, I'm very tanned and I've got that American sort of aesthetic attached to me. And there they want a sort of like good looking boy, but more fashiony. So a bit more of like a unique, weirder look for Asia. So for me, I fit into the more commercial market versus, you know, Asia was a bit more on the fashion side.
I've always wondered about that because I've interviewed a couple of other models for this article before you. One is you will probably recognize Sean O'Pry, the guy in blank space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was saying he gets a lot more work in Europe.
We would be on a very similar sort of, not level, a similar aesthetic in terms of clients who would want to book us. Also dark hair, sort of classic boy next door, good looking features, you know.
In South Africa, is your type of look what they like? Is it popular in modeling agencies?
I would say so, maybe, yes. I think, you know, Cape Town is it's a lifestyle sort of city. A lot of surfers, kiteboarders, people who like to be active, go hiking, etc. So I think, you know, you do get a lot of people who are going to the gym and they want to keep healthy and they want to, you know, have good bodies. They want to be out for the summertime because, you know, Cape Town isn't a place that gets very, very cold, you know, during the winter and you know, very, very hot during the summer. It is mixed throughout. So in the middle of winter, you could have a beautiful 25-degree summer day here. So I think everyone is wanting to be out and about, looking their best. And because it's a surfer lifestyle, you'll find that a lot of the boys who come out of school will naturally grow out their hair and they want to put it into like, you know, man bun. And that's very common for a lot of people to do. I never did that just because I don't think I would suit a man bun. But I did grow out my hair. I mean, after school, I also had a very short, like military style haircut. So very classic and clean. And I think that is why the Asian market really liked me.
Yeah.
Also, didn't have any beard, etc. I looked very young. You know, when I was 18, I looked 18. Now, 3 or 4 years later, the difference in the comp cards or the Z cards that I had then versus the comp cards or the Z cards that I have now, I look 7 years, you know, apart in terms of like my aesthetic look, because I grew out my beard, my hair's a bit longer, and this look has worked a lot better for me. So I think even if I tried to go to Asia now, I don't think I'd be accepted for the look that I have now, to be honest with you.
What about London or New York for you?
That is where I'm looking at going now.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to network myself in America. So I'll do Miami, then possibly LA and New York. I've had good interest from both those cities. And then I have a German passport, so Europe will be very easy for me. You know, Germany, I think I've had interest from Milan and then London, of course, as well. But we'll start with America, I think. I also need to build my book a bit more for New York because it's a bit more fashion versus LA. You know, there's going to be some acting in there, and hopefully, I think my agency wants to push me for the acting a bit as well. Yeah. So I might have to do some acting lessons, and you know, it's all combined: the modeling, the acting, your celebrity presence, social media. It is all together, and the more you can do, and the more versatile you are, the more work you can book.
I could easily see you in some sort of a Netflix drama.
I will definitely act or you know, get the training done for a couple of years before I ever think of going onto a show like that. I would want to prepare myself fully and know that I'm comfortable in an acting environment before I ever put myself in front of a camera.
Yeah.
When I started modeling, I was completely unprepared. I was thrown straight into the deep end, you know, moving overseas, especially to Asia, like you've got no friends there. For them in Asia, it's a lot about e-com work and catalog stuff. And so you need to be able to stand in front of the camera and do 50 poses like this in front, change into the next outfit, do 50 poses. It's not like campaign type shooting where you can move naturally and the photographer is giving you direction, etc. So it's a bit of a different world.
With TikTok, what was your first video that went viral?
The first video that first really blew up for me and that went over 1 million views was when I started, because, you know, a lot of my followers started saying in the beginning, oh, you look like Damon Salvatore or Ian Somerhalder from the Vampire Diaries. And obviously I could see that resemblance. So I thought, you know, let me try a video like that. And the first one I did really well. But then the one that first blew up and went over 1 million was a duet that I did with another girl who looked like the Elena girl from Vampire Diaries. And when I did that duet video, I mean, I think it hit like 3 million views or something. And that was the first for me. I was like, wow. After doing it for a while, I didn't want to be the guy who was always doing those videos. I didn't want to be the guy who people would meet one day and be like, oh, you're the guy who does the Damon impressions. I wanted to move away from that and do my own content. But then every now and then, if there was a certain trend going around where, you know, look like your celebrity or something, then I would do something like that because people liked to see that. Yeah. But I wanted to make my account my own as well.
TikTok, it is really addictive. Like, you can be on it for ages.
Yeah, you can.
I've seen a lot of your videos where you do the transitions.
Yeah. So I started doing the transitions just because, you know, that came natural to me because of the modeling perspective. And so, you know, changing outfits or doing something like that was something that I found like I could do. I don't know if I'm going to be dancing in front of the camera, but I can't dance. It's pointless for me to do videos like that because they're not going to do well. I need to play on my strengths and not my weaknesses. You can do your own content, right? You can do your own type of transition. But if there's a trend going around, if you do that trend with that trending sound over a video that you've created your own transition, etc., because it's trending, it is going to do threefold better than what your own video is going to do. There was the trend where you were flipping the shoe, right? You flip the shoe and then you try and put it on like in midair. And that was a big trend that went around. And the first video I did on that got, I think like 56 million views or something. And it was my highest video I ever did. And even then I was like, you know what, let me do it again in a different outfit. And I posted that video and it got the exact same amount of views. And I think there's been 550,000 videos made from that song and that trend. And my 2 videos are sitting at the top 5.
Music plays quite a big role.
100%. If you are not using a trending song, or you're not using a song with like sort of a decent drop, or a song that fits the type of video that you are using, it will not do well. If I use the wrong song versus the right song, the views could be 1 million views or they could be 100,000 views. It could be a massive difference, you know?
When you saw your TikTok get really popular, did you start getting offers from brands and companies?
I did, yes. Obviously, you have to sift through a lot because a lot of the jobs aren't, you know, suited exactly to what I would like to be putting out there. And I'm not just going to, okay, someone's offered me money to do something, I'm just going to post it for the money. I try look ahead and go, you know, is this good for my brand that I'm building? The main thing that I've been doing on TikTok is actually song promotions. And why I do that is, number one, it's good money. And number two, no one knows that I'm promoting anything. Because as soon as people see on TikTok that you're promoting a brand, your views drop. Yeah. And if I'm doing posts like that all the time, people don't want to see my account. They want to see that you're creating your own content. And the way that it's best to do that is to do song promotions, because all it is just a normal TikTok with a song, but no one knows that you're getting paid for that song.
Would it be a song that has been specific for TikTok?
Yes and no. Basically, the process is the client will approach the label or the agency that I work with and be like, listen, I've got an artist who wants to promote a song. I have a look, I go, cool, I like this song. I think it fits my brand well. I like the brief that is sent through that you would like done. I will do it.
Have any of the songs you've used become really popular on TikTok?
100%. I mean, I remember doing a song that was posted on TikTok for a client. And I think in the beginning, it had maybe 5 videos that were made underneath it. So it was a fresh song. I might even be wrong. It could have been 0. And I did this transition in a suit and I did a spin, a little twirl. It was a very quick video. It was like 6 or 7 seconds. And that video got 10 million views. So, I mean, already that video has hit 10 million people. And from that, let's say 1% of those people then go and make a video from it. And then from that 1%, those people have posted a video and their friends will do videos off that. And then those friends and those friends. And so I think, in my opinion, TikTok is one of the best apps for music promotions ever, because it is minimal money to have an artist post a song. But the views you can get, and the song that you post out there can boost worldwide, you know. And so for an up and coming artist who somehow gets one TikToker to do a video that gets over 10 million views can change their life.
Even the big artists, you just hear their songs constantly on TikTok.
And now it's at a stage on the radio where almost every single song that you hear on the radio is a popular trending TikTok song. Whereas in the past it wasn't. It is now every song that you hear is a TikTok song.
Yeah, yeah. So with your career now, it's obviously going really well. What is your dream? Like, what would be your ultimate goal?
I spoke to my parents about this the other day, and I think I chatted to them before about it, but my ultimate goal, it's always been, I wanted to push my social media in order to help me with modeling, because the modeling is what I enjoy doing. I love the traveling aspect, the meeting new people, going overseas. That is what I want to do with my life. That's what I feel like I'm fit for. I'm a very spontaneous person as well. So if I got a call today and they said, cool, you're going to Miami tomorrow, I would pack my bags and go. I'm that type of person. And I think I suit this career quite well. And so it's always been to push my social media to help me with modeling jobs. And the ultimate goal for me would be to book a massive, or be the lead face for a fragrance campaign like Paco Rabanne, you know? And so if I could book something like that, man, that would be my dream. Possibilities with social media these days, it's unfathomable. You know, you can, like right now, I mean, I could probably, if I wanted to start a clothing brand and then completely ditch the modeling and start a clothing brand that maybe does well, you know, because I've got the following, I've got the resources to put it out there and start a full-blown business, you know. So I definitely think I'm going to use my following for that one day, and you know, have my own brand, start a jewelry brand, something like that, and have all these little businesses off this one platform, because just using this one platform helps my modeling, helps my social media work, and then can help, you know, a jewelry line that I start, or fashion, or anything like that, you know. It's the capabilities are quite unreal.
Absolutely. So, you know, when it comes to content creating, do you think about your audience a lot?
100%. 100%. And if you don't, then your videos are not going to do well. It's like, I was chatting to my agency about this the other day. It's like, if I posted, let's say I did a job for Calvin Klein, right? And Calvin Klein wanted a high-end, almost like full-blown campaign type video, right? Posted like how they usually do in a landscape format, and they wanted to put that onto TikTok. It would not do well, because the target market, and especially these days with the younger kids, people want to see raw content. They want to see you there holding your phone, even pressing start with the camera and showing you in all your sort of raw real life action, you know. So if I'm going to post a video like that, I know it's not going to do well. So I always try and look at my target market and know, cool, I'm dealing with 12 to 21-year-old kids, right? I'm not going to be posting or take on a job that promotes, I don't know, property. You know? No one wants to see that. Will I take on a job that promotes jewelry or a fashion type brand? 100%, because that is what kids would maybe want to see. But at the end of the day, if I'm doing transitions and I'm standing in front of the camera by myself, doing the video myself, and it looks like I've made the video and it's raw and it's natural, it will do well. Most of the time.
And are mainly your audience, would you say more than 80% are women?
You are on the dot. It is 80% women. I think it's 81% women and 19% men.
Does that make your life easier?
Yes and no. I mean, I do have people come up to me, and to be honest, it is cool at times, and it's really nice to, you know, meet people who come up to me. But at the same time, sometimes you just want to be able to go out to a bar or something and have a chat with your friends and not feel like people know who you are. You know what I mean? But you know, now I'm at it's a fortunate stage that I'm at, but you have to deal with it. Like there's not much I can do about it now. You know, I've got to this point where I want to be, and yeah, there's positives and negatives to it, but mostly it is positive.
What are the negatives, would you say, of the?
Like I said, like if I want to go out and I don't want to be recognized, I mean, it just has gotten to that point, and especially Cape Town, where, you know, I'm going out to, let's say, a restaurant, and a lot of people do recognize me, because it's younger people who are on TikTok, and that's mostly my following is between 18 and 24. That's a massive majority of my following. So a lot of people know who I am, and even if they don't follow me, they know of me, through their friends, etc. So the negative would be, you know, sometimes I don't want to be recognized. Sometimes I want to be able to go out and just be me and chat with my friends and not feel like there's eyes on us, you know. And sometimes that does happen, but most of the time it's people, I go to a place and people know who I am, which is cool, but also sometimes I don't want to be recognized.
So have you ever gone to, you know, a restaurant and you've got a whole load of screaming girls? Like
I wouldn't say screaming girls, but I mean, I have gone to the beach before, and I get like, I'll have like 5 different people like come up to me and ask for photos, etc. And that happens quite frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose because you're in the public eye, you have to be very polite and nice always.
100%. And I am that type of person as well. I don't want to ever end up being a, you know, snobby person who's got a following and thinks they are above everyone else. I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to stay exactly who I've always been. I don't want to change.
What would you say are the main differences of being like a social media star and modeling?
Okay, well, number one, public eye. You know, I'm now in the public eye versus when I was modeling, I was not. You know, people look at you and you go, okay, he's a model. Sweet, like, so what? You know, unless you're Sean O'Pryor, you know. But then also Sean O'Pryor is in the public eye because once you start doing those big campaigns, you build a social media following. It's the natural order of things, right? But if you're just an upcoming model with 5,000 followers in your Instagram account, people are just going to be like, cool, he's a good looking model, you know? So people are not going to fantasize over you for being a good looking model. They will fantasize. It's just how it is. They'll fantasize over you because you've got this massive name or a following attached to you, and what they think the sort of like the connotations that happen after that, or maybe you've just got some status now attached to you just because you have a following, which is stupid in my opinion, but that's just how it is. You know, you're now technically classified as famous or whatever that word means.
Yeah. And what are the main differences you would say from your Instagram followers and TikTok followers you see?
So here's the thing: the TikTok followers and the Instagram followers, I think, are the same. So because TikTok, the followers from there came over to Instagram. Most of them, I assume, because the following that I have on the analytics from Instagram and TikTok are pretty similar. It's also 81%, 19% favoring women. So I think when I post, like, let's say Instagram Reels now, I think on the Explore page, I get new followers on Instagram from that. But most of the time, like I chatted to my friend the other day, on TikTok, you can, if you do a very good video, people will follow you. But on Instagram, it's easy to build a following on TikTok versus it's not easy to build a following on Instagram. You can try as hard as you want, but unless bigger brands are going to repost you on their page, you can't get your name out. Versus on TikTok, if you do a good video with a trending song, you can get your name out quite easily. And that's why I encourage musicians to definitely get onto the app, because like I said, with music promotion, TikTok is the best app to do it on. And I did that with a friend of mine the other day. He's an upcoming musician. I've known him for a very long time. And I called him over and he was like, you know, Karl, I want to start TikTok. Do you have any tips? So I gave him all these tips. And eventually I was like, you know what, David, come over to my house. Let me do a video with you. I've got an idea. And I did this idea with him. The video got 2 million views. He gained 30,000 followers overnight from zero. And, you know, that changed his life. He's now even got brands contacting him saying, hey, here's some free clothing, you know, can you promote for us, you know? So definitely as a musician as well, if you've got a number attached to your name, of course, then people will want to book you more, you know? And for him, as just a musician who was playing like up the road at small gigs, etc., I think it's definitely helped him out. And he can be like, now, hey, I've got this following, this is my content. And I think a lot more brands will contact him now because they see that he's got a following, you know?
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
you're a really good friend as well.
I mean, it's honestly, it's so easy for me to make a quick video and help him out. You know,
Mm,
it's no sweat off my back. It's no hard work. And if the video does well, I mean, that helps me out as well. So
yeah,
it's a win-win for both of us.
yeah. So what's your friend's name?
David,
Uh, and your surname?
Derman.
Okay, because this is a good part I might mention in the article. Um,
Oh, if you mention him in the article, oh my word, I think you'll cry.
um, do you know any other social media stars that you're friends with now? Like someone like Tony Mafood?
Oh my word. Tony Moffat has been an idol of mine for a very
Yeah.
long time. And I've always looked up to that guy. And I think he's also a very humble person I've never met him in real life, but I mean, I've looked at his content for years now. And he does such amazing photos, and he's also such a talented artist,
Mm,
actual artist. So I don't actually know anyone personally with
mm,
a bigger following or a similar following to mine. The only person I do chat to on Instagram, Tobias Reuter. He's a German model on Instagram.
yeah.
And he's got about 740K.
Oh, wow.
I think other than him, there's no one else that I really chat to. And also, the thing I find, as soon as you've got a big following, number one, you've got a lot of people wanting to talk to you,
Mm,
and a lot of people wanting to be your friends for obvious reasons. Um, and I can sniff that out straight away. I
like,
like to keep my
what
circle.
the telltales?
What are the telltales?
Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, they will 100% start talking about, oh, I've got this YouTube page and I've got this page and I'd love to do a video with you. I unless they're a friend of mine or their intentions are pure and I can pick that up, of course I will help. But otherwise, I I'm able to like I said, sniff that out now, and I kind of distance myself from people like that. I like to keep my circle small. I
mm,
like to keep my circle genuine. And most of the time, all my friends are still the friends that I've had from high school days. And maybe there's a couple that I've met recently, but all very close circle. And I like to go out. I like to socialize. I like to meet people, but I'm not messaging people every day, hey, let's go for coffee as soon as I meet them, in
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Because people will take advantage of you, and I'm
Yeah.
not one to be taken advantage of.
Any big celebrity followers that you thought, oh my God, ooh, they're following me?
To be honest, not. I think the only on TikTok, I think there's one guy who's part of like the hype house in LA. His name's Griffin. I can't remember his name. I think he's got like 20 million followers or something on TikTok.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also, as soon as, like I was going to say this earlier, as soon as you've got a following attached to you, a lot of people change, and a lot of them become snobbish and stuck up and treat people differently because they've got a number attached to their name. And I, like I said before, will never become like that. I despise people like that. And I don't think anyone should value themselves higher than someone else just because they've got a number attached to their name.
Yeah. And normally, when I think about social media, like really popular people, you think about women more.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably, yeah. Because I was going to say that earlier. I think there's not many big male influencers, especially in Cape Town, I know of. There's pretty much no one. Yes, there's good-looking girls and models who've got like 20,000 followers, etc. And that's usually the cutoff. I know there's a couple people in Cape Town with about like 85, 100K that people know of, but no one with like over 1 million followers, I'd say, that is like well known. And especially males. I can't think of a single male sort of in Cape Town that's got a pretty decent following.
yeah.
Other than some TikTok kids, there are
Yeah.
some kids out there. I won't name names that are doing content that I don't agree with, and it's just basically copying someone else.
Mm,
But they've built a following, and I'm not one to sort of hate on anyone else. If it's doing well for you, great. Is it good for your brand? I don't know. That's not my business. You do
yeah.
you, I'll do me. That's
Yeah.
that.
You're absolutely right. There's not many men who have reached, the height of your success on social media.
I appreciate that.
What
I mean,
would you
yeah.
would you would you say is your secret?
I don't think I have a secret. I mean, I think consistency, definitely. I mean, I do try and post very regularly, and especially throughout lockdown, I was like, okay, I've got nothing to do. It's lockdown. I'm in my house. I'm going to create a video every single day, sometimes 2 videos. And as long as I can keep pushing content and keep trying to think of new ideas, or be on TikTok and look at what is working, what is not working, and I'm just trying to find my way. That's what I'm doing. And I guess it's worked out okay, So that's all I'm doing at the moment. I don't want to stress about it too much either. I don't want it to become a point where I'm like, because I do compare myself, and I think a lot of the creators will say that as well. You compare yourself to other people. And so for me, yes, I've got 5.5 million followers on TikTok, but then I compare myself to all these big girls like Charlie D'Amelio and all those kids who've got like 70 million followers and are full-blown celebrities now. And I'm looking at my measly 5 million followers and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm not really doing as well as these guys. But then I chat to someone like you and you're like, oh, you've got this massive success on social media. I'm like, oh, really? Like, I'm actually success in social media. So like, for me, like a lot of people are saying, oh, like you're famous and like all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't feel it. I don't really feel famous. But to someone who's got, let's say, 5,000 followers, then they look up at me. But then with me, I look up at someone who's higher. And it's always a game like that. So I'm trying to keep my head straight and be like, I've achieved what I've achieved now, and it's great. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm happy, But if I'm going to keep pushing and saying I'm not here yet, then I'll never get there, and that is going to turn into sort of some mental disorder or depression, become anxious, and I don't want to become like that. I want to just be happy where I am right now, and thankful for where I've got to.
What people like about you is you're very relatable.
Well, I hope so. I'll try to keep my content relatable.
Yeah, because just like even now we're doing an interview, but there's one of your friends or your brothers in the back.
That's my best friend Ethan. So we live together, and you'll see him in quite a few of my TikTok videos. Yeah.
I think when people see your account or whether it's on Instagram, I think they feel they can be your friend, and I think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I also think I spoke to someone again the other day. When people look at my Instagram or they look at my TikTok, I think there are connotations attached to that. Like they'll look at you and go, okay, cool, this guy's good looking or whatever, but he's probably, an asshole in real life, I wonder what he's like in real life. But I think a lot of people, especially guys, look at me and they go, oh, my friends know who this kid is, like whatever, like screw him. But then in real life, if they meet me and they've got all these, accusations against me, etc., and then they meet me in real life and I'm actually just real and I'm not snobby, etc., then they go, okay, actually, this is just another dude, and that's what I want it to be like. I don't want people to sort of feel like I'm there, just have a normal conversation.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too.
And it's been a really interesting chat with you. And
I hope you got something to write about me.